All right, here we are. My name is Drew Didle, and this is the Listening Room podcast. And I am with Josiah and Kenny, who are live at the Minnesota State Fair. So, a lot of people know that Robert Kennedy gave a speech on Friday, and there's been a lot of speculation and conversations around that. But I think a lot of people are wondering what's going on with the Kennedy campaign in general and in Minnesota. And Josiah and Kenny have been at the Minnesota State Fair and having conversations. And so I wanted to give them the mic. I'll start with you, Josiah, to tell us a little bit how that has been and what's been going on.
Okay, so I didn't plan this booth. I didn't get it all set up. Elizabeth in the state, Henry, many others helped prepare this. They did an excellent job. I was here on Friday when we got the news about the way the campaign is pivoting. And I just felt right away like people are actually going to be really interested in what Kennedy has to say. But I saw that the headline 20 minutes before Kennedy spoke, the headline read, Kennedy dropped out and endorsed Trump. The guy hadn't even spoken yet. And so what we've been doing, we've had thousands of conversations a day with people, Friday, Saturday, today. And what we're basically doing is we get people who are coming up and we say, hey, did you hear what Kennedy did on Friday? And then they say, oh, yeah, he dropped out and endorsed Trump, right? And then we say, oh, well, actually, we try to figure out how to wrestle with that in each situation. We say, 9 in 10 people think that headline ran out before he spoke. Here's what he did. He said that he's going to withdraw in roughly 7 to 10 swing states. And as always, he says you vote your conscience in those swing states, but he says his campaign is not going to be able to reach 270 this election. So we face a strategic defeat. Sometimes we talk about the lawsuits, the way that our campaign was bled of our donations, and through lawsuits that we slowly win. We go into some of the backstory there to help people understand why he's making the pivot he's making. And then we tell them that so he's pulling his name from 7 to 10 swing states, and in those states he says, as always, vote your conscience, but hear me out in this speech. And he says this is why you should consider voting for Trump, even over many of the understandable objections you might have in those states. But then we tell them, but he's saying, I'm still on the ballot in about roughly 40 states. And if you live in a deep red, deep blue state, Kennedy is saying, I encourage you to vote for me. Because if we get over 5% nationally, we get to start up, laws kick in, federal funds are released. We get to start up the strong, full, independent party that 71% of Americans are saying they would like to see to hold their parties in check. I'm a Republican, many people Democrats, a lot of independents. A lot of us want to see that happen. We go a lot of different places with that. We talk about Lincoln starting the Republican Party, that was a third party, that led to the demise of another party, and that sometimes happens, or you can have multiple. If we have Trump supporters coming up, a lot more of them very interested in Kennedy, very grateful that he's supporting their guy, but not always knowing a lot about what Kennedy's actually saying. We talked to them about how, look, Kennedy, he's helping out your guy. He's not MAGA, but he's willing to work together on some issues that he thinks you guys can work together on. And he's helping out your guy in swing states. And he's saying, look, if you live in a deep blue, deep red state, you got gratitude, consider helping us out to get to our 5% if you want to see that strong independent party. So that's an example of the kind of conversation we have. Generally, people are like, wow, thank you for the information. I see them thank Kenny when she's been here this evening. They're very grateful for it. They didn't know what was going on. They go away. We tell them to go to Kennedy24.com and the 48-minute speech is up there and they can watch it for themselves. We've had people come up to booth say, hey, your guy, man, that was the best speech that we've heard in a generation. I mean, generally speaking, I would say the interest in Kennedy has ballooned since midday Friday. And it's coming from people who intend to vote for him. It's coming from people who don't, but have an enormous respect for him. And they feel that he's doing an immense service to the country.
Yeah. Josiah, this is really good information. I want to ask a follow-up question, and then we'll
Okay.
go over to Kenny. And then we're going to wrap this up pretty brief just to make it easy for people to digest and read. So I love what you're doing because I've been also having a lot of individual conversations with people who've been confused, and somewhat that's been on social media, on Facebook and Twitter. And so I love the in-person presence and just helping clarify it and using our booth for this purposes. So my question is, for people who are interested in getting involved or helping out, what can they do or what should they know?
So here's what's going to happen. Other people set this booth up, did the immense work to do that. I'm not an organizer, but I just, when I stayed on here, I think, we all knew that there was going to be at some point a limit to this because the campaign, we're really completely 100% grassroots at this point. We are not under the campaign. The campaign is suspended for now. It could kick back into action if Kennedy believes that the Trump team is not going to keep to the word on some of the things they've talked about working on together. But for now, those of us who want Kennedy to reach that 5%, we're doing this on our own. And so as part of that, the state fair has said that we don't have the liability right now from the campaign to stay here. So we need to shut down the booth inside the state fair by the end of the night. Honestly, it's a blessing in disguise. It finally freed me to see outside the box. I've been paying $18 to come in here every day. There's just as many people right outside that front gate. So we talked about that on the team. We're going to set up a table there tomorrow. I can only stay here till tomorrow. I asked my boss if I can have one more day before I get back to my day job. And so I'll stay here to the end of tomorrow. I'll be there for anyone who wants to come and talk strategy about if they want to continue to do this for people. I mean, I just predict people are going to thank you if you get this message out to them. And so anyone who's interested, reach out to me. My number is 507-822-6133. And I will try to get you into a chat group with whoever takes on a role of keeping this organized. If we don't have anything viable by the end of the day, that's okay. That's kind of the cherry on the pie. I mean, we were over here on the weekend. People have continuously said, we didn't really understand why you'd still be here. We thought your guy dropped out, but man, after hearing you, man, so happy that you're here.
Josiah, that's perfect. And so I understand tomorrow's the big day. Anyone who's able to come to the state fair, we can come meet you in person. I personally will plan to be there in the morning, and so I'll be part of it with you. There's going to be a chat group that people can get involved in, and we're just kind of taking off from here. So before we wrap up this call, I would like to hear
one more thing.
That's great.
I will be here from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Great. Okay, I'll look for you in the morning and I'll reach out to you. So Kenny, would you in maybe a few minutes share with us about your experiences in the tent? Anything you want to share with others who might be interested in getting involved?
I did notice a lot of young people who get their news from different sources, like me. I include myself in that. A lot of young people have heard about it, know a lot about them. They've watched. They're already doing the stuff that we're teaching them. I love the little cards that have the QR codes on them. I think that'd be a great thing to hand out tomorrow.
Yep.
I can be here this weekend, but I need to go north. But this was an extreme. I've been telling people this has been an extremely well-organized campaign for not having had 50 years of being able to plan and already have SOPs in place and things. Like I've been totally impressed with everybody, the things they put on X, the smart little YouTubes, and people have been so receptive. And I'm happy to be here. I think if we can keep this on, we can keep this on. People light up when they hear it. It's strategic, and the corn thing is great because you can maybe kind of say, okay, we're not judgmental. Go ahead and put it in, and then you kind of know where you're going with your conversation.
The corn poll.
Yeah.
Yes.
Corn poll gives you an idea of where they're maybe and what you can. So I can say like, oh, if your friends are anti-Trump, look at this smart thing that Bobby did. He's kind of, it's just suspended, and he can kind of hold them to that. I want to say Josiah is a rock star, and he's got knowledge like none other, and he's calm.
Well,
and I think sometimes he talks about too many things that don't stay, but they stay and listen to him because he's so knowledgeable. And and brings other things into it. This has been really great. I
Awesome.
can't say enough for like how smart this man is. And
Every
I trust
booth
him.
is a team effort. Every booth is a team effort, and it's fun to see how, you know, you walk away from the booth and I see people talking with Kenny, and I think if you're here, Drew, anyone who comes here, you just get different things coming from people, and that's really
I also was
good to
doing
see.
balloon animals. Like I didn't ask permission,
Yes.
but when I do night out or youth mental health night, I pull families in where kids see the balloons, and then my cohorts can talk to the parents. So, well, these are the defunct ones that are left, but
Awesome. Well, I just want to
I
thank you
think
both. I want to
being
thank you both.
Kennedy-like and not being harsh about anything and being warm and welcoming. And like the reason I work with Kennedy is because I don't hate anyone. I'm not against anyone. I would like to lift everyone up, and that's a great representation. I've really enjoyed this thing.
Same here.
Oh.
Same here.
I just want to thank you both for what you've done, and I'm really excited to see where we go from here. I will see you tomorrow. I'm going to end the recording for now, so thanks everyone for listening, and hope some of you can come out and be part of this. And we'll keep the conversation going. Yes.
One other thing is we are looking for everyone who's interested in this to reach out with their phone number, name, and times that they could be interested in participating, so that we can get all those contacts and everybody into a chat.
Sure. Do you want to one more time just say your number for the people who want to?
My number is 507-822-6133.
Perfect.
We can hear, but